Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, so light's definitely on.
So I don't know, about 35 days ago is when I quit, dude. So I was sitting there and it was 2:55 on the phone, and I was smoking, and I had my weed right here, and I was smoking, and I was just like, you know what? If I'm gonna quit, it's gonna be like any moment like this moment. You know what I mean? And instead of doing like rehab or weaning off of this, this shit, I was just like, fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
So I had 5 minutes. I gave myself 5 minutes between quitting. And so it was 2:55, and at 3 I was going to quit. So I was like, 5 minutes. So I started smoking. I don't even know if I had the air, oxygen at that time. I was just starting smoking. But when 3 o'clock came, that's the line that once I get there, I'm going to be done. So now it's been completely gone. Poured out the liquor, put the cigarettes down. I actually had a pack, and I told my dad, look, and I crushed them. And then I gave him my weed and shit. I said, here, get rid of that. Just in case I come home tonight and I change my mind, I don't want to know where it's at. Yeah. Because I need to get, at least 24 hours under my belt before I feel okay with this. So, but yeah, maybe after 48 hours, it's I think, I don't know, God, nature, everything, myself, everything. It was just okay, this is the real deal.
Yeah, it feels good too,
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I stopped, I was just telling myself, because I, pretty much the same thing. I had a moment, and I was just like, you know what, I'm done with this, and I just stopped. And I want to say the first day was kind of tough, I just went to sleep for a little while. And then after that, I felt great, felt relieved. I'm not relying on anything, I'm relying on myself, I got myself under control.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the big things. It's I saw this video of this guy on the city bus, and he was drinking, and these Marines were letting him be an asshole right up until he hit it, flipped this dude's hat on him like that, and they came and they choked him out. I looked at that and I was like, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Out of control, and then have some other man, whether it be a police officer or military or anything. I don't want another man to tell me to do anything. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So instead of let them control me, I figured I need to get my own self-control. Yeah. But what you're saying, these are the good things about finding some things within the first couple of hours of self-control. It's okay, I'm doing good, you know what I mean? And then you start looking at other people doing that. You're you don't need that, you know what I mean? You're putting a lot of energy. I put a lot of energy in that, 17 years.
That's a lot of time, energy, everything, your health, your life, everything. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. Looking back at the other people, it's you don't need it like that, you know?
But they're still in their mindset how we had it. If somebody came up to you, you gotta stop smoking. What? Who are you talking to?
This is the best thing in my life.
I want to keep smoking, But now, after you stop, you're just trying to help people, but they don't see that. They're this guy's just trying to be like everybody else that doesn't smoke. Stop smoking. It's not good for you. But it's not good for you.
Yeah.
It even says in the pack now. I got one of my buddies. When he stopped smoking for a couple months, he was trying to get me to stop. And I kept telling him, I'll stop when I want to stop. When I'm ready to stop, I'm going to stop for sure. And now I've stopped. He's still smoking, but on the pack it says, smoking kills in big letters.
Yeah.
He's still smoking. I'm it's telling you stop. Smoking kills. You're still smoking it. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, you think, I guess you're going to beat it or whatever, but that's the other part about quitting. I feel good about it. It's I beat it. I don't have to pay the consequences. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever consequences I did have, I get to reverse that system.
Yeah. And you save a lot of money, too.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Money starts, if you let go of all the addictions. See, I've got a friend, he's I'll let go of this, but I'm not going to let go of the weed or whatever, right? It's no, if you let them all go, you look at your money stack and you're well, what are we going to do with that? Because that's, for me, that's what leftover money was for. After you took care of yourself, that's for that. But now it's okay, I can invest this.
There you go.
You know what I mean? I don't ever have to be the guy who, has to downgrade from something. Mm-hmm. I can get the nicer things, And I can't quit.
And what I thought a while back, I was going to quit, and I didn't, but I was thinking, when I do quit, what I do want to do is, every time that I would buy a pack, let's just say I was going to buy a pack, which is, $7-8 now. Mm-hmm. I'll put it on the side, and then I'm going to donate it you know, like after some time, let's say after a week, that's $50, and then, you know, a month, that's $100, $200, $300, and then just donate the money, you know, and I'll feel better about that, you know, instead of killing myself. Not only am I helping myself by not killing myself, I'm helping others.
Yeah, you know? See, now that comes quick though. Like I said, it's only 35 days for me. So I'll pick up trash over here at this apartment complex right here, and this Asian family, I guess in their culture, they do gift giving. So like, well, I'll walk by and their family is like giving me water and crackers and like $5 and $10 bills and stuff. And so I was like, in my heart, I was like, I need to do something nice for these people, right? So I started doing these tie-dye shirts.
Nice. And
so I was like, it'd be fun for them and their kids to make tie-dye shirts, you know? And normally I never have no money to do something like that. And so I went, and it's, you know, not a bunch of money, but I gave them a package deal, like to make there was 2 packs of shirts and like the dye set and a bucket and everything, which then I found out, which is like some kind of cool thing to know now, is like when you're gifting them back, there's rules. And I didn't know that.
Okay.
So they don't speak English. And so I was like, you're supposed to like give them stuff with like both hands.
Really? instead
I
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, instead of one. And then the color and the numbers about like what you're doing, like that's, you're supposed to be conscious about that. Really? Which I made a mistake. Like one of the things you're not supposed to do. All this stuff I gave them because before the tie dye is all white, because you want it white before you tie dye it. Well, that's one of the. So in our culture, you know, or whatever Western culture, we wear black at funerals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So over there it's white. And so, like, basically, I gave him a bucket full of death, evidently, because, like, there's a bandana. There were bandanas to put color dye on, and, like, handkerchiefs are, like, the top 5 things you're not supposed to give them because it means, like, pretty much go die.
Oh, wow. So you're like, hey, go kill yourself.
And I didn't know this. And, like, the way it happened is, like, I gave it to him, and then I walked away, and then, like, when you gift them, they feel like obligated to gift you back. So she came up and gave me cheese and water, and then the guy he got on the phone with his son and passed it, and he was like, "What?" You know, in an angry voice, like, "What did you give my father?" I was like, "I gave him a bucket full of arts and crafts. So like, he's supposed to like give it to the kids or whatever." You know, I'm trying to be nice. They're so nice to me. Not everybody's nice. And they're nice to me, I'm going to be nice back. And he was like, okay, give him the phone back. And so, like, I think, they tried to explain. I don't know.
I mean, it won't be white after the tie-dye.
That's exactly right. So I think if he smiled and laughed. He didn't say anything else because I can't understand him. But he looked over, and you can see, like, you know, man to man, the guy was like, okay, you know, like, I don't think he meant to insult us.
But I mean, it's good now because you learned another culture, you know, like.
Oh, I'm just beginning. Yeah, I looked, so like just yesterday, this happened yesterday. So I looked online, and like, this is where you said, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know any of this. So I looked online, and there's all sorts of stuff like that. So like, evidently, if you give like 4 oranges to somebody, they're going to think it's an insult because it's 4.
Yeah.
So if you give them 6 or 8 oranges, they're like, oh, okay, cool, because it's like a good luck number. So like, basically everything that you gift back and forth is like to like promote health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. Like if it's like, you know, if you give them a big old watermelon or something, they're going to be like, okay, it's big, it's growing, like you want us to grow together. And like, you don't really need the language back and forth. You can speak through your gift giving. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
And that's something that I've learned as well in their culture, at least. It's they just see it as growth. Everything is growth, you know. Like nothing just comes. It's about growing. Mm-hmm. Like even the plants, you know, they're growing. You know, just as us, we grow. Mm-hmm. Instead of like we just came out of nowhere. You know, we're growing. Just we're part of the earth. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they want to promote that.
Yeah. So
they don't like looking at death, especially, I mean, I guess a lot of them don't have, like, a religious background. So, like, death is death. So, like, they're trying to stay away from, like, anything that brings that, except for they see wine and cigarettes as, like, they're, like, from, like, Western culture 50 years back when people were smoking in hospitals. Like, they don't see it like it's something bad yet
Yeah.
in their culture. But they'll come around to.
But I mean, now, like, see, back then it was just tobacco. You know, they put it in the paper, rolled it up, smoked it. Nowadays, it's all this chemical.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of it that way.
So that's why it's just a big difference nowadays. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah.
It's just we don't know what they put in the cigarettes anymore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but according to them, you know, they have all these chemicals and rat poison and blah blah blah. And
Make you extra addicted and all that.
Yeah. So it's just and now it's totally different. Everything's different nowadays. You know, even the air we breathe is probably different. You know.
Yeah.
Because just pollution and all this nonsense that they do. You know?
Yeah.
It's just it's just a list of never-ending things that they do, and it's all because greed. You know, they want to benefit for themselves. They don't really care about us as a people.
Yeah.
They just care about, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make $1 billion off of this. Good. It's gonna kill, maybe 1 million people, but who really cares? You know?
Yeah.
Let's just make this money.
It's weird to see marijuana was like my favorite out of all the substances. And like I always thought, why are they making this illegal? It's good, you know what I mean? Like, this is dumb. Yeah. But then I started after I quit, I'm like, oh shit, like that was keeping me down, you know what I mean? Like this keeping me in poverty, you know what I mean?
Think so?
Like, hell yeah, because as far as for just the quick, I mean, like I said, it's only been 35 days, but my money means nothing now. Yeah. Like what you said, I can now donate, or me doing that little thing, the gesture of kindness.
Yeah.
Oh shit! If I'm sitting there addicted, and maybe it's not the substance, it's the addicted aspect. It's I need to put $100 this week over here for my weed or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? And every single week, $100 for that. You know what I mean? So it freed me. I can see, now that I'm free and my money, it's I'm not a slave. You know what I mean? And the money gets freed up. I don't know. It just seems like a great thing, and it's oh shit. What if on purpose they put that how they talk about how crack used to get put in the 80s into the neighborhoods? Okay. It's on purpose. It's they purposely are trying to hurt the people. Yeah. Because if they don't have that, they can prevail. They can be strong. They can have a voice. You know what I mean?
I think it is. You have pretty much like that, but control of your mind is what I'm thinking. It's because what most people, if you look around, they don't have control of their own mind and their own thoughts.
Oh, okay.
They kind of just they go along with whatever they hear or see on TV, like you were saying earlier. You see somebody, boom, you have a judgment off of them based off of what you heard or saw on TV. You're not really thinking of it yourself. You're not doing your own research. You're not, actually educating your mind and sharpening it. So we kind of just. With the weed, I mean, everything in my religion, my belief, everything's in moderation. Everything. You have to have a balance, a middle ground. You're not supposed to be extremist or extreme for the negative or the positive. Once you're extreme in something, you have no foundation. You have no grounding. You know what I mean? There's some people that go, I don't believe in religion at all, and some people extreme, I gotta. Every single letter of the word, I got to follow that and believe it, But once you're in the middle ground, you have an understanding of both, and you're balanced. You're on your feet, not able to tilt back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's if you are smoking, let's say for example, and you rely on it, you're no longer in the middle ground. Now you're in one of the extremes.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's just the way I look at it.
Well, what about true sobriety? Is that too extreme too? Then?
What do you mean?
If you don't put yourself, for me, I was almost going to celebrate my 30 days with a cigar.
Okay.
And then I was I can mess up. You know what I mean?
You could.
So what I'm asking you is is complete sober a bad thing, you think? Is that?
It's not a bad thing. I mean, it's not sober is basically, you were just born. When you were born, did you smoke cigarettes?
No.
I mean, I don't think anybody did. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, all right, I see what you're saying.
But let's say you smoke a cigar a month, just for example. That's cool. But once you start smoking more and more, then you're no longer in balance. Yeah, you fall off balance. Now you're addicted. You smoke a cigarette. Let's say you smoke one cigarette a day. It's not gonna kill you as quick as if you smoke a pack a day. Because I got to a point where I was smoking almost 2 packs a day. Stress smoking, oh, I hate my life, you know, everything's falling apart. What do I do? Kept smoking, not realizing that that's part of what's causing the mess up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm wasting all my energy, my time, and now I smell like an ashtray. I'm walking around. People are like, "Oh, what is this guy doing?" You know, I don't want to talk to him. You know, it's just everything. Your face, your teeth, everything.
What do you think? What do you think? Like when you just talk about like the mind and like hearing the, because there's some voices in the head, right?
Yes. Oh, that's something also. Go ahead, though.
I just wanted to. I'm listening. I want to hear your thoughts about like who, what, and like all of that about those voices.
The voices are you. You know, like you have you inside of you. If that makes any sense, because like most people, they think you're born, your parents named you, your name's Sean, right? So your mom named you Sean, let's say, or your dad, whatever. So that's it. You're identified as Sean. You think you're Sean. As you're growing up, your parents are telling you, "Hey, Sean, do this, do that," or your cousin did this, your brother did that. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, brother and sister.
Brother and sister in the middle, or older, younger? Middle. Yeah. Okay, so they probably compared you to your brother or sister, you know, whoever was older. Oh, look at them, look at Sean, or look at your brother. You know, they try to identify you as somebody, but all in reality, that's not who you are.
Right.
You know, like, yeah, you were given the name Sean, you were given this body, but inside of you is truly who you are. You know, and I was at the mosque the other day because you know I pray 5 times a day. I try to stay in focus with God because. I feel like that's the best thing you could do because, you know, it keeps you on track in a sense, you know, to me at least. So I'm at the mosque, and after the prayer, the guy, pretty much the leader, you know, I guess you could say of the prayer, he was saying every single day, and this is scientific, this isn't even a religion anymore, we speak to ourselves, we speak 5,000 words to ourselves every day. And out of those 5,000 words, 80% is negative to yourself. So, like, you hear yourself talking. Like, right now, you hear it.
Always.
But you don't hear it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't use your ears to hear it, but you hear it inside of you. And it's just like, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, blah, 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 blah. Negative, 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 for the most part. So what you want to do is try to train yourself and take control of yourself and show yourself, like, you know, try to speak positive affirmations, you know, tell yourself, like, I'm good, I'm this, I'm that, I'm beautiful, you know, so on and forth. And then try to keep moving forward and realize, like, okay, I'm not Sean. I'm everybody else. I'm just like you. You, like, me, you, we're the same. You know, everything is the same, 100%. You know. Inside of me is what's inside of you. You know, but we're just living it differently, you know. Like, you have your time, I have my time. And then, as we all know, like, I'm almost 30 now. I've witnessed a lot of people die, you know, like pass away. They haven't really died, but their body went away.
Right.
But I also witnessed people born, you know, like 2016 was a pretty tough year. My uncle passed away, and then the next month, hi.
I'm Lily.
Hi.
Hi, Lily.
I mean, that was you.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast. And you're good.
No, so... my uncle passed away, and literally like a month or 2 months, was it 2 months? Yeah, 2 months. My son was born in the same hospital. So I witnessed my uncle pass away, and then a newborn, you know. So that's just part of life. You know, you have to realize that. But you also have to realize that's, in a sense, that's you. You know, you passed away, and now you're reliving, you're born again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, I feel like once you get a connection and understanding that everybody's the same, you know, you kind of just fall back off of all the media and what everybody's thinking, you know. Yeah,
See, the way I word it is like this oneness, and when I took a bunch of acid once, like 8 hits, and it like showed.
I'm glad you're still here, man.
And it showed me like I got the.
Connection with everything.
There was everything.
Like this table,
yeah.
too.
Oh, everything.
This
yeah.
is you know.
The whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. And like I was looking for. I don't know anybody who did that. I was the only person out of my whole circle. Friends, family, strangers. I didn't know anybody else who did that to themselves. So
I mean,
so I had to look on the internet for like, any kind of person who might have had an experience similar to mine. And I found it like with Buddhism people, they were talking about, well, you were talking about like a middle way, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And then they were talking about, the thoughts in the head. And that's why I wanted to bring it right now, because there's like a decider between that. Like, so if I go like, oh, I want to go get a cigar, that'll be all right, right? And like, that's one of the voices. But then the other one's like, should I really do that? And then there's like this middle person that's like, we're gonna either do it or not, like the decider.
Yeah.
And like so like looking through it in that way, it was like weird just like get into these conversations that I normally wouldn't have. But I do recognize the oneness between people, and like to look, I believe that we're sitting in infinity. Like this is the way I perceive reality, and it's like, okay, so everything else is division. Once you bring division, you've already messed up. You know what I mean? If I say I'm something different than you, like that's where the whole mess up starts. You know what I mean? Like, right off that first thought, like you know what I mean? Right. You can't find that. You're not gonna find anything, no solution to find unity with division. You know what I mean? Like that's not the way to do it. Like,
but you also have to realize that we wouldn't know what division was without unity, just as we wouldn't know what unity was without division. You know what I mean? Like if we were all united, we wouldn't know what division was, because we're all united. There is no division. We wouldn't know. But I don't know. I have done acid once before, and I don't know. I felt like it unlocked something. Like even I was able to. It was crazy. Probably most people won't even believe it.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at electrical, like the electric posts. I see the electricity moving.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. Yeah. Like, oh my God.
Everything
was just live for me. Like I didn't see anything, you know what I mean?
No,
I didn't see any creatures.
No, it's this world. It's this world, but more like magnified or something.
Yeah, it was really, really magnified to me. That's how it was. And I'm a writer. Like I love writing. I just continue write. And I want to say I was writing. I damn near wrote a book to my current wife. At the time she was just I think she was my fiance or maybe even my girlfriend. I don't know. But I was just talking. She was like, "Oh my God, why don't you just write a book?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm working on it." And I just kept talking. I don't know, man. I just but definitely for like Buddhists, that's what they in a sense believe. Everything's connected. We all grow as one. If you look at a tree differently than you look at a person, and you have life twisted.
Well, it also opened up this other thing. So I was brought up Christian, right? So when I'm looking at something like when Moses takes the stick and it turns into a snake and back into a stick, or they say, even if like everybody came against Jesus, the stones would start speaking, defending him with that. And I'm like, okay, rocks talking and snakes and turning into sticks. I wouldn't believe that with my first mind, you know what I mean? Like the first digestion of this realm.
Yeah.
But then after seeing that and experiencing it, I was like, oh, that makes sense, of course, because under those circumstances, of course the rocks there's nothing dead.
Yeah.
It's all alive. It just is
and
like the table seems like it might be dead or something, but it ain't dead. No. That's like, this is the way we look at it.
Exactly.
It's only a perspective.
It is, man. And it's crazy because, like, growing up, I grew up Muslim, and as I was growing up, my grandfather was basically like a priest, but he would go to churches, talk to the priests, he was cool with everybody, but what, I don't know, growing up, what I was taught was everything was alive, and then when I grew older, obviously, I looked into Christianity, I looked into other religions, Buddhism, so on and forth, and I felt like my religion is basically a combination of all combined into one. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And when I go to the mosque, I see Chinese, Japanese, and the Asian descent, white, black, Arabian, Middle Eastern. I see all that, and we're all standing. And when we pray, we're all united. We're all, toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder. That's how we're supposed to pray. We're all supposed to be connected. So, like when we go pray, everybody is the same. Whether you're a billionaire or you're living in the streets, or sleeping by garbage can. When you pray together, there's no separation. We're all one. That's why I love it. I love it so much because it's just like this is how it's supposed to be. We're all supposed to be connected. You know, we're all supposed to.
It is already that. It already is that.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't have to force that. It already is that.
That's how it is. But we try so hard to separate ourselves and just point at each other and say, "Oh, you're white." That I'm already giving you a label.
Yeah.
You know, boom, right away, you're white. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this.
Why?
Because of the realization that I feel that you have, and the realization I feel I have, when I look at something like countries and borders and stuff like that, you said labels. You're not. I'm Sean, but I'm not really Sean. I could be Dave. If they said Dave, now I'm Dave.
Whoever you tell me I am. Yeah?
Right.
What's your name? What do you want it to be?
Right. Exactly.
That's how I
but
go.
at the end of the day, I'm unity, and
Yeah.
I'm all things all at once. So. What do you think what do you think when we realize, because I think that even, I mean, like what you said, it's a different, you know, you're coming from a different background and everything, but we're realizing the same unity.
Yeah.
What do you think then makes a person separate that way, build a line and say, this is mine and that's yours? And this is, you know what I mean?
You know, all the seven deadly sins, basically, right? When you gather them all up together, you know, if you look around, the most richest people, you know, the bankers, pretty much, they have control of everything. They're running, probably like, 100 people, or let's say, for example, that are controlling everything, you know, and this is what they want. They want the power, they want the money, but they don't have a realization that we have, I guess, in a sense, like, I'm not going to be here forever. Like, I will, but, you know, Mohammed isn't,
I get it.
You know?
Yeah. The actual meat body.
Muhammad isn't going to be here forever, you know, but everything else is going to be here forever. After we pass away, what do you think is going to happen, you know? Like, everything's going to be the same, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, the world's still going to spin.
So it's just, they're just not there yet. Then I'm just saying that's the world as a whole, because, I mean, I don't know exactly what, you know, where you're coming from, but I think I do. I don't recognize countries and borders and nothing like that.
I mean, it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
It is, unfortunately.
Well, so, like, the way I think, right. So, I was trying to talk to my dad about that. Like, you know, like, if you find a fish in a pond and you take it out into the water, somebody can come up and be like, where's your license? You know what I mean? Like, hey, man, get back, dude.
Yeah,
like,
what do you eat? I'm trying to eat. What do you want from me, you know?
Right. And so, like, he says, like, just to break it down into, like, language, he was saying, like, oh, that's like first tier. Like, the reality is this. But then we live in this other second reality, you know what I mean? Which is, you know, that. And then, like, you know, banks and, like, stuff like that. Almost like how the internet works. Is like, there's the dark web where you can do anything you want. And then there's, you know, safeguarded and security codes and all this other thing. And we add to, like, the pure. Here, it is already one thing and pure and everything. And then we mess it up. You know what I mean? Like,
we tend to do that. Yeah, we tend to mess things up.
It seems animalistic, like, to say, you know, this is my territory. You know what I mean? This is mine. You know, like, it seems like that's where it messes it up or something. Like,
and that's true, because nothing really is
it
yours.
Isn't yours. Yeah.
Like, the way, again, my religion taught me basically, my son, although he's my son, it's not even my son. You know, nothing is mine. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. This phone, it's mine, but at the end of the day, is it really mine? Like, who am I anyway for me to have this phone?
Well, I've also experienced, you know, through my own, you know, like you said, sitting back and thinking, like, and then helping. I did get helped out with the Buddhism aspect, as far as, like, we claim it's identity. It's an identity problem, like, where I can say,
it's ego.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I could say, this is me, and then that's the other. So, like, but when you use just simple language to express, so, like, inside my body is the words, and then outside my body, it's like you can put them together. It's like, to me, I see, like, if you take out the heart and you put it on the ground, I pass away.
Yeah,
but if you take the sun out of the sky, I pass away. You know what I mean? So it's like an external organ. And then it's like, oh, I'm not just this body. There's nothing dividing my skin and the air cells. I'm the whole thing out here. My true identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I can realize, you know, there's people inside of all these different genres. And, like we were saying, like, not every Christian is going to be the same Christian. Not every Muslim is going to be the same Muslim. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, but the ones that have sat here and thought it out and realized, got, you know, things, realms, and different things brought to them, I think they come more to unified like way of thinking about these things. You know what I mean? Because you start seeing the similarities about like realizations about this realm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They start to be shared a little bit more. But I think it's new to everybody, especially with like the internet, connecting the people, and getting, old narratives, and like those things like, oh, you're this guy and this is your borders and this is your rules and these are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that used to be like, how would you know? Like, how would you know outside of your city how things are going on?
Exactly.
You wouldn't know. But like now we're opening up the world with this, and so it's like, oh wow, we got a lot of like catching up to do. Like it seems like, you know what I mean? Like the world, I don't know. It just seems like the world is like in a new place as far as like all the information age is coming together. It's like, oh, people are getting information just thrown at them at such a rate. Like we have to extrapolate more quickly than we normally would have, or whatever. Or have new thoughts that normally might have not been there. But really, for me, what's been shown to me, like all the inputs and everything, it's like, okay, like people don't realize, or not people, but like some people don't realize like the true reality of what's going on here. They're stuck.
Kind of
they're
stuck in this.
They're stuck in a story they were given.
Like you have to work, you have to do this, you have to do that, and this is how you live.
Yeah.
This is how you're supposed to live. You're supposed to get a 9 to 5. You're supposed to get a house. You're supposed to raise your family, and then you're supposed to die. That's how life is supposed to be. Supposedly. But I think in reality, you're supposed to venture off. Gain knowledge, talk to people, interact with people, have an understanding of what's, what do you think? What do I think? Things like that.
What is the book that you're writing?
What?
That book you said you were writing.
I was going to start it, but
Oh, you haven't started it yet?
I mean, I have bits and parts all over, everywhere, in my phone. I write notes, but I haven't actually started it.
Oh, okay.
I think I did start the title like in my head, but I wouldn't share it with anybody.
Oh, it's new. It's too new. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, but I definitely want to get it going. Because,
Okay.
I don't know, I've learned a lot in my life, I grew up in the city of Chicago, and I learned a lot, definitely. And what I did learn was body speaks more than language. Like when you talk to somebody and you understand how their body is and what, psychological, your mind, your body speaks before the words do,
Oh, okay. Body language.
Body language is important because, how much, I want to say maybe 80% or more of conversations is mainly body language.
Oh, okay.
And once you have an understanding of body language and how it works, you're able to know how to communicate with people better.
Man, that's cool. Yeah. Stuff you can't lie to me now or whatever. Like,
you could say that, okay, that's cool, but I don't, told me.
Tells me. No, that's
like you could
cool.
say, like, oh, did you do that? No, I didn't do that. You're right there, you did this. No, I didn't. You already lied to me.
You can see the frustration.
No, I already know you lied to me. Like, our bodies already speak before we do, And there's no way the body will lie. The body, what I wrote this before, your tongue will deceive you. Why is that? Because you may say something, but your body's already given the actual answer. But most people, not everybody, most people won't even catch it. They'll just either know you're lying or won't believe, they'll believe you're lying because they don't understand body language.
Oh, okay.
They never really took the time to study it or look into it, you know what I mean? Because they just, okay, yeah, he said this, so I believe him, And you could watch it on TV, you could see it when people are talking to each other. I like to watch people, Like if I go, let's say I go, go shopping or I'm at a restaurant, I just sit there and I watch them. I'm watching conversations, I'm watching the way they move, the way they talk, the way they act, the way they respond to something that I say, or if somebody else is saying something, how they respond. Are they making eye contact? Is it a long eye contact? Short eye contact, everything.
Yeah.
When they say something, how do they react? Okay, if I tell them this, or how their feet are, everything is connected, It's so crazy.
That's cool.
It's beautiful, And it's just, I don't know. When I went to college for a little while, maybe like 2 years, not even, because I just dropped out. I just stopped going. But I love psychology, just the way a human thinks, and just how even babies, like I have a son now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always watching him, just watching him, seeing him. And right now, you know, when kids are growing, they don't know what to do. You know, they don't know how to live.
It's genuine,
So what do? Everything that everybody around them does.
I see.
They're just mirroring everything. Like, if you do this, then they're going to do that, you know. The other day, I was just like, yeah, go over there. And what did my son do? He pointed like, yeah, go over there. You know, he was trying, because he's almost 3. So he's doing literally everything that I do, he'll do. Everything. Everything his mom does, he does. So when I see kids and the way they talk to me or act, I automatically know that's how it is in their house. Like, that's how their parents are. The kid starts yelling, rah, rah, rah. That's what he sees his mom and dad doing, you know? And, you know, it's crazy. Man.
Yeah,
it's all connected.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So it's just, but yeah, I listened to a guy. Do you ever hear about Alan Watts?
Oh yeah, dude. One of my favorites. That's the guy who was like right after the acid trip when I said I had to find somebody that knew what I was talking about.
You knew what you were
That's
talking
who
about.
I found was Alan Watts.
Yeah,
I know everything about Alan Watts.
Yeah.
Not everything, but you know.
Yeah. So I mean,
I've listened to hours of Alan Watts.
Yeah, me too. So definitely, like, he also listening to him, and then just about the Buddhists and how everything is connected. It allowed for me to even, you know, be stronger about my faith because. You know, reading deeper into my faith, everything he's saying is basically what my faith is about, you know, about how we're all united, how everything is alive, how everything grows. The tree is no different than you are, you know, and then, I don't know if you heard, he was basically saying, like, if we're looking at a hippo, and we're looking at it like, wow, how is this even real, you know, and then we also think, like, we hear a story of some sort, you know, fictional story, or at least we think, like in the Bible, how you were saying, oh, he put his rod and then it turned into a snake by the will of the, you know, Almighty. So, like, okay, how can we believe that? But then when you look at a hippo, which is right there in front of our face, which is real, and we go like, how is this real? You know? But something like we think might not be real, how could you know? Like, how could you even know that it's not real? Oh, Jesus, you know, spoke as a child. You know, us right now, of course, you know, there's a lot of people that won't believe it, you know. They're like, oh, no, that can't be real. Jesus is just fictional, you know. I believe in Jesus, you know. I believe he's coming back, you know, to guide us to the right direction. But, you know, nowadays, everybody's just on, why are we believing the Bible? You know, why are we believing the Quran? Why are we believing this and that and this and that? Everybody just wants to feel like they're thinking for themselves, you know, but are they really thinking? That's the question. You know, what are they thinking about? And who's telling them to think that way?
Yeah.
You know, where do they get these thoughts from?
That's cool.
You
That's
know?
cool. I mean, just to hear what you just said about, I believe Jesus will be coming back and helping them. You know that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't expect you to have said that.
Why?
To tell you the truth. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not
to tell you the truth. I would not have expected that. Well, I've never even stepped foot in a mosque or anything like that. So like, when I look at, because so if I looked at like this, you know, from the genres of that. The Quran and the Bible, we have like Father Abraham is in both religions, right? So like it seems like there's like this tree branch, you know, branching out like that, and like there's people go because that's how the world is, you know. We have our kids and everything, so like it just seems like we spread out, and then that became like one of the branches, you know what I mean? Out of this, what was one
words, man.
Anything.
It's all about words. Let's because we could take it all the way back to the very, very basic, you know. Let's just say words, because like Alan Watts says, words cause everything. It causes chaos. Words, simple words.
Yeah.
Like I could tell you something, and I could simply change the wording, and you could think of it in a different way. You know, like you'll react differently just by the words. It all depends on the words. So now, the Bible in English now, most people say, "Oh, Jesus is God." But also in the Bible it says there is no God but the Almighty. Don't worship anything but God, right? So how can you say that Jesus is God? That means there's two gods. So that's one thing that I think. Oh no, it's not. It's not two gods. It's Jesus, then God, then the Holy Spirit. Oh, so there's three gods now. No, that three is one. Really? How does that make sense to you? What do you mean? How does that make it? It makes sense. Really, does it? So 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1. You know, what is 1 plus 1 plus 1? 3, right?
Right.
Regardless of what they say, it's 3. I don't care what anybody says. You know, that I learned math. I know 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. But they'll say, oh no, it's united, it's 1. Just like you and your wife and your child.
Yeah,
sorry. Just say, no, you're cool. Like me, my wife, and my child. They'll say, oh, but it's one family. But it's still 3 people.
Okay.
You know, I don't care what you say, it's 3
No,
people. So the way I look at it is, let's just go back. You have a language barrier. And with that, it changes context, which changes information, which alters everything. Because the Bible wasn't originally written in English, was it? Because, I mean, you have certain words in English that mean different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, right. Right could mean turn right, or it could mean, yeah, you're right.
Right.
You know, just that simple word. And then the letters could change. Once you change the letters, it could be something else. You know, Same thing with that. You know, if you go all the way back to the original context, which is Aramaic. How many people speak Aramaic?
Nobody I know. we have books at the house that have it. Strong's Dictionary will do all the different languages, and you can go back to the Hebrew or the Aramaic or whatever.
See, Aramaic, there's only so far that I've just talking to people all through, because I've traveled maybe 30 states throughout my life, and I've worked along the way. The only people that I know that speak Aramaic is Ethiopians. And Ethiopians, if they follow the Bible, somehow it still connects to, everything else. You know what I mean?
And somehow they came up with
Haile
Haile Selassie, who says that, hey, I came back to tell I ain't the God. So that's weird.
I don't know, man. So what were you about to say?
That was a cool. So I wanted to bring back, because you do know about the Alan Watson unity, the oneness. When you said something about, I can say 1, 1, 1, that's 3, but then how is that 1? You know what I mean? The way that my mind has thought this up is because, this is just my opinion. I don't know about what's right and wrong and all these things. Yeah. I think there's only 1. And I do think that 1 is the actual number. And when you do 1, 2, 3, it's just the way the mind can perceive these. It divides with the mind. So like, the way I brought it up is like the pineapple. If you take off the top of the pineapple and you put it down in the plant into the ground, it grows another pineapple. I don't know if you know this. So then you take that off and you put that on the ground. Well, you can then have those 3 pineapples. But it's all one. This is how, like, when you look at your belly button, you know what I mean? You were snipped from your mother. Yeah. Are you and your mom different? Is this 2? I mean, DNA. They're going to say, this is a unique DNA code from your father and your mother that brings a separate person. But really, that's only one way to see it, I think. Is like, but at the end of the day, there's nothing called nothingness. Yeah. So like, there's nothing dividing me and you, really. I mean, we got the air, but what's in the air? There's water, there's different gases, fucking hair follicles,
everything,
dead skin follicles. There's all sorts of things. So there's not, but a nothingness is not something there. So it's almost like, okay, with the eyes, we can see separate things. This is separate than this, which is, separate than, this. Like, it looks separate, but in reality, it's all one thing, and it just looks separate. Yeah. So the only way that I can, like, for my mind to, like, extrapolate, like, something like Father, Son, Holy Spirit or whatever, is like, that's just a way to tell you, like, like it's... But at the end of the day, it is a one. Literally, I only believe in 1. And so, like, when you got like 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever,
it's really just 1. And I get that.
Yeah,
definitely get that.
Okay,
I
so you
understand
see that? Like,
no, I get what you're saying. Like, at the end of the day, like I even said myself, we're all connected. We're all 1.
Because 4 is 4 ones.
Yeah. But in that sense, there's like people that actually worship Jesus, like say, "Oh, Jesus is God." But if you believe, like how I believe, 1 is 1, then we're all gods. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. But it's
in a sense.
In a sense. Yeah, in a sense.
Not necessarily like we created the world and the universe and everything in it. That's a different God.
And if we did, that's a different part of us that's not being revealed at this moment. We're not playing that version or game of where are you supposed to be if you are God and you have no creation? you'd be lonely. You didn't have anything to do. You know what I mean?
Just like me being in a lost island with nothing in there, I mean, it's just not going to happen. It won't be able to happen. But like I said, with the context and with words and everything, they took it as, which is why they crucified Jesus. Because, even Alan Watts was saying, he had an awakening. He had something inside of him that was telling the people,
hey, I'm divine here.
But he truly wasn't divine. He was saying, with whatever power that I was given from the Almighty, I'm able to do this. I'm able to do this with the power of the Almighty. Just like how we all, with the power of the Almighty.
Yeah.
So in a sense, we're just like Jesus, So, I don't know where they got
Would this also translate to Muhammad?
What? I mean, he was, I guess so.
He wouldn't be anything more or less than us, right? We would be equal to the same thing with the realization of knowing
exactly
that, right?
So basically, with Muhammad, it was the same thing as Jesus. That's how we believe. Like, he was given a book, or it wasn't even a book. It was just like a straight message from God, which is pretty much an awakening. Like same thing with Jesus. Jesus was able to heal, or raise the people from the dead. But if you read the Bible, it says, through God, I was able to raise the people through, he didn't say, I'm God, so I could do this. He said, through God, I was able to do this. Okay?
Yeah, no, I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it. Now, so follow me on this one. Because we're just thinking it out.
Yeah.
What if, because Jesus says, I'm here to not judge the world like that and like to damn it. But if sin brings death. That's what he says, right?
Okay.
And so then it tells, I'm here to give life and life to the fullest. And in my head, like what you said, we know and we can see growth. What, if I take these hands and I bash somebody's head, like I bring death. But I also could swallow a baby and put a baby in the mouth, and I'm bringing up life with my own hands.
Yes.
And so like we got the flower and we got the weed. The flower's not going to look at the weed and choke it out, but the weed might do that to the flower. But we're both weed and flower.
Yeah.
So it's which one do you get freedom of free will?
Yeah, free will.
To choose which one do you want to do. So why would it be so? I feel like why is that so important to listen from somebody to tell you to go that route of growth and health like that? Because at the end of the day, those messages will manifest into certain things, like when we watch somebody in a hospital heal somebody, like heal their broken arm or their even to the point where nowadays they're making people who couldn't hear or blind people to see and hear. It's like, oh, these are the fruits that we were promised if we follow things that aren't that you said, the 7 deadly sins, which is the greed and this and that. It shows like if you do, and so like what I'm saying is like basically even like all of the, like humanity, if we can like start to do that with our own selves, because like when you brought up the God's part, because it says there's the King of Kings, and it seems like okay, well then that like we said we are the kings, but there's a King of Kings, you know what I mean? Yeah. I recognize that in myself as far as a metaphor, which is like if we're 2 cells in the arm, body of Christ, if you will, you know what I mean? Our job isn't to bring the whole body, and to move the whole body. Our job is to be the best cell we can be. Yeah. For when he moves, we move with him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But and so like, this is part of my digestion. So I don't know, how much is truth about it. This is the way I see it. Is like, okay, so he's sending this as like a message to bring what are the possibilities of the man, the individual man in this world. What is his limitations? And really, there's probably no limitations when you're following what you said. I pray 5 times a day. Like we're trying to get more into Christ. Well, what does that bring? It's going to bring more of a healthiness to ourselves and to the other people around us. Right. And that's all we need to be is that. Because like I'm not the doctor in Canada fixing the arm, but I am here in front of you. Or I was there when I helped. This guy eat off the side of the road. Well, he wasn't doing that. He was in Canada doing his thing. It was up to me to be that guy there at that moment. Yeah. And it changes the whole world. It doesn't change my life or his life. It changes the whole world. So it's like, okay, so our messengers are giving us this message. Why? Well, it's because we can do those same things.
Yes.
We can bring those same things to the earth, and we can bring the health, we can bring the miracles through these things because of that. And it's not us, me, like you said, the ego. It's not Sean that does that.
Yeah.
It's God working through me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
That's
it's my willingness to be a conduit to those things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So maybe, this is the part where I don't know if I'm going into like just science fiction land because it's not here yet. But like, what if, this ultimately leads to a more of a heaven on earth vision where we don't have to die anymore.
Yeah.
Because this is life to the fullest. Well,
they're already working on that.
Right.
I heard people...
But that's not one individual. That's the whole thing. So it doesn't matter if you were born 4,000 years ago and you were anything, a bread maker, you're still working towards this ultimate thing. Nobody escaped that. You could even be a prostitute or whatever it was. It ultimately was coming. Now, that's not the way you're supposed to be. I'm not saying that. But your duty was not to be the prostitute is what I'm saying. But your duty was to actually be not that. Like, to be healthy. If you can, the more healthy you are, the better and faster we're going to get to the end reality of basically a nirvana situation, a heaven on earth situation, where we eradicated the weed is no longer here. It's just flower only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I know that's a little bit from my digestion. It's like, I don't know if I'm not being like what you said, balance. Maybe I fell out of balance and went too extreme. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, because I'd be saying, let's get rid of suffering. Let's get rid of death.
Yes.
And so that's a very bold statement.
But truthfully, we never die.
Exactly. No, I know this part. So, right. So, like, the way I also see is like the Alan Watts situation where it's like you got heads and tails, and you're both heads and tails is not heads at all. And
heads is not tails. Yeah.
Right. So, when we look at life and death, it's like we feel, for not just for me, for some people, they see it as such a contrast as like existence and complete non-existence.
Yeah.
But even if it was to be that, there's nothing dividing, nothing detaching you from non-existence and existence. And that brings to me, I don't know what all of Islam has to say about after death, but it doesn't mean that we cannot live. There's more life, just like when Abraham Lincoln was on the planet or whatever, like where was me and you, we were still in the fabric of all being.
We just weren't. We didn't manifest
in this realm. In this realm is the beings that we are now.
For sure. Yeah, like for us, our belief is that there's stages. Part of life. Like before you were born, you were somewhere. This is in our religion, so. And not a lot of people do know this because nobody really takes the time to even think of all that. They're so caught up in this world, They don't even think like, oh well, what was life like before I was here,
Okay.
And there are people that like us, we think like that, Maybe we had something happen, we had an awakening, so we're just like, what happened? So there's a part where before you were born, you were in this life, and then your parents, they met. And then, like Alan Watts would say, is that where you were started? Because, people could say, I was started when I was born. But is it really where you started?
Yeah.
Because, obviously you started when you were in your mom's stomach, or before
conception, yeah.
Yeah, in the twinkle of your dad's eye when you saw your mom, that's where it started. Where did it start?
That's awesome.
Like, oh, I see her. Oh man, I'm about to have a baby with her. Who knows where you started?
Yeah, you're already here.
So you're just in this.
Always here.
Yeah, basically you're in heaven. Let's just say, for example, you're in heaven, and then your next life is in your mother's womb. That's your next life. This isn't your only life. This isn't your first life. So then you're in your mother's womb, and then you're over here when you're born, and then after you pass away, then you have your other life, where you're in the grave, and then your soul, which is not who you are. You're not your soul. You're just part of it for right now. And then your soul will go to the next phase, and then afterwards we'll all gather and go to the next phase. I don't know the exact details, I don't know everything off the top of my head, but all I know is that this isn't your first life or your last life. That's what I know, and I believe that because, I don't know, like I said, I've seen people die and I've seen people born again, and it's just, it makes me think, like, what'll happen when I die? How about if I already died? Like, what if I died and came back, like somebody else? Who knows? Who really knows that, So it just, I don't know, it's crazy,
Well,
but
what was that part when you said you're not even your soul, though? I've never heard nobody say
No,
that.
I said, you are your soul.
Oh, okay.
You're not even
Oh, maybe you
this person.
misspoke. Okay.
Did I?
Yeah, you was like, but you're not even your soul.
Did I?
Yeah, at one point you did. I think
maybe.
But
are you your soul?
Right. Yeah.
No, like, are we?
Well, see, at that point, so it's just the way the mind digests that, especially in this context of conversation. I would think that soul is the one unity, and then it expresses itself through this materialisticness that seems separate, like me and you are separate, seemingly. You're another man, I'm another man.
Right.
But in the actual realm of soul, it would be it's one soul playing as two men. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I mean,
But maybe that's why, like, body language is so important, because it's just like, maybe what I say and what I think is different, but it could be the same too, but you could take control of that. Like, for example, like I was telling you, with the psychology and the body language and everything. Let's say you're sitting down. I was just recently watching a video. There's a guy, he's sitting down, and let's say you're at a restaurant, you see somebody. If you do what they're doing, let's just say you keep doing what they're doing, and then you change it, you'll notice that they change too. And they'll start doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no.
So that kind of just, like, if that's how it is, like if somebody's yelling at me and I yell back, it'll change their perception of me. Like, if I talk to you normally, like how I'm talking to you, and you're just an angry person, and then I get angry with you too, like I start yelling, it can change, like, and then I could slowly go back to, like, hey, what's wrong? And then you'll be like, nothing. It's crazy, and I actually tried it, I try to talk to people and try to have a better understanding, but if,
Well, then this shows us, like, literally what we want to see in the world we have to become. I mean, back to the whole Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror. I'm got to look at the person who I am.
Yeah,
if I want
that's
the
important.
world. So, like, if I go walking down the street and I'm waiting for somebody to smile at me, I have the wrong attitude.
Yeah, you have to smile.
I have to smile, and I'll probably get the smile back, you know, like.
And that's actually a form of worship in our religion.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's not necessarily, like, it's a form of it, because you want to bring out the positivity, the energy, the positive vibes. Because, like I told you, 80% of what people are going through in their heads is already negative. Like, so when you give somebody a smile, it's a form of charity, and charity is a form of worship. Because I'm giving you a smile, maybe it doesn't cost that much. It's priceless, though.
Yeah.
It has more value than any dollar that I can give you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
kindness.
You don't know what people go through. And there's people that are, like, literally about to go kill themselves, and you smile at them, and they're like, and then they smile, and they're like, maybe life isn't that bad, and they don't kill themselves. You know what I mean? And I've had numerous conversations with people where they just wanted to end it. Like, literally, they no longer wanted to live. And then I'll just like, Glenn. They're like, what? Yeah, let me help you. You want to jump off, or you want a gun? I'm like, what? Like, you don't want to die.
You don't want to die.
You're lying to yourself. You just don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
You're in a position of where, I don't know what to do. And how do I know that? Because I've been there. I literally, like, I'm ready to go. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, am I really ready to go? No, I'm not ready to go yet. And God, even, obviously, because if Jesus is God, and so am I. So I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Obviously. I'm here to do something. I'm here to help people. I'm here to change something. Even if it's one person, if I'm helping one person, I've helped. And there's a verse in the Quran where it says, if you kill one man, it doesn't say one Muslim, because most people have thinking like, Muslims don't care about anybody. If you kill one man, it's as if you killed all of humanity. And if you save one man, it's as if you saved all of humanity. And if people actually live with that, they'll start to see like a myriads of change. You know, like people would start being more positive. People would start helping one another and caring for one another instead of just like, oh, this guy's on the street. Oh, he probably does drugs. He doesn't care about himself. Well, the reason why he doesn't care about himself is because I don't care about him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he
You
knows.
gotta take it deep.
Why would he want to be here with people like that? You just created the circumstances on why he doesn't want to be around anyway.
Exactly. Oh, I don't want to help him. Well, he doesn't help himself. Why would I help him? Well, I mean, you don't want to help him, so he finds no reason to want to help himself.
And then it says, you know, in Matthew, in the Bible, it says something about, you know, you help your brother, you're helping me. And those are clues now with the acid-like mindset, which is like, oh, duh, like, because that is you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a form of you. It's another form of you.
Yeah.
So, like, if you see people doing bad and you try to understand what that even caused that. You know, it could be something crazy like back in the day, I don't know, your mom said something to you and then it just boom, it triggered you, and then you just go off with that. But I don't know, if you kind of just let people talk for a moment, you kind of get an understanding of why they're doing or whatever they're doing or what caused them to act that way. You help them, you know, you figure out a way to guide them, help them, you know, change the way they're thinking, the way they live. You know, instead of looking at a homeless guy and be like, oh yeah, he's a bum, I don't care about him. No, why don't you talk to him, get to the bottom of it, try to have an understanding of it, and try to help him in the best way you could. You don't necessarily have to give him money, but, you know.
Well, and they talk, I don't know which, it's a European country where I guess like they were trying to heal the drug problem there. And instead of making it incriminating them and bringing this, you know, the judgment and all of these things, they said, you know what? They just out of desperation, they were like, okay, let's legalize it, help them, give them clean meals, and start putting that.
Less people were dead.
Putting the money, well, you start building something in their life that they want to defend, you know, to get them a nice job, get them this, and maybe they get a relationship or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, I don't want to be a drug addict anymore. You know, this hurts my further path of growth, and I can see that, and I need to. They'll want to get away from it because they can see that it's hindering them instead of using it as a coping mechanism. To bandage up shame or whatever other things that other people, like you said, the surroundings are, you know, maybe not intentionally, but are causing some of the problems. So when you're watching that suffering, then you're a part of that. When you say, like what you said, the judgmenting or, you know, or the lack of care and empathy for that is, you are the solution to that. You can fix that problem through understanding and love. You know what I mean? I'd definitely give them a chance to. I'm not saying, people have their own free will at the end of the day, but how much can I do? What should I do in this situation? And maybe people who've listened to my part of the podcast, they would know I had a girlfriend back in the day that had these problems, and she was the suicide thing, tried to OD to leave the planet. And I was thinking, you know, all the doctors, the pastors, my parents, my friends, they were like, you need to stay away from her. She's bad for your life. You know what I mean? And then my thought, I was sitting there on the balcony and I was thinking, okay, if she's leaving the planet and everybody's solution is to leave her alone,
she's going to leave the planet.
Why does she want to be here?
Why she doesn't want to be here, you know?
Yeah, nobody's showing her. And so my own personal thing within, this is years ago, 5-6 years ago, I was like, I'm going to be whatever it means to, I'm going to be the guy, or whatever the human being has to be for this person to want to be here. I got to become that, whatever that is. Yeah. So it was like an uncompassionate love move that I made, because I knew she was going to be doing cheating on me and hurting my feelings and all these things, you know what I mean? I knew that before I ever committed myself to her as a project, basically. Like, I'm going to make this person, I'm going to help show love. And then that love will save us, because I believe in love. Okay. And then I realized, I don't have all these other girlfriends and all this other thing. I could put all my love into this person.
Now, most people, they say that, they love. Mm-hmm. But what I found, at least in my research in life, is no expectations. Yeah. That's love. Yeah. No expectations.
No, I know. Later on, I'm not with her anymore. Oh. Later in the journey, I realized this. Yeah. And a lot of my healing that I was going to give to her was healing I wanted to give to myself.
Right.
I was hurting for her because I hurt, and I needed to change my hurt. So yeah, there's later lessons. It was a huge thing, dude. And we had found success. She doesn't do drugs. She has a baby.
Beautiful.
At the end of all of this, not my baby, but another baby.
But, you know,
and you're
she's
right.
still alive.
But the love that I gave her with the expectations, because I knew the whole route. And maybe so it's like we won in one direction. We won. We have success. She's alive. She's healthy. Her baby's healthy. She's happy. She's now turned into a counselor her own self.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so much beauty. Now we can't be together. The
Right.
ego, my Sean ego,
wants to
God. I mean, she won't even talk to me. Like
Yeah.
I'm trash. You know what I mean? So it was like, oh, you know, like the one that saved you. You know, like in my brain, like my ego tells me, like the one guy, like you're gonna do
That's
this.
what happens. The ego gets in the way. If people had less egos, we'd have less topics.
I started insulting her and all these things. I turned bad, you know, and like, but looking back in the whole thing, it was like, okay, like this is what I think helped my path to these realizations. It was like, okay, I could see where it was selfishness and not what you said, love, real love that does not, you know, does not want, you know, like, or need. It was, and so my plan going backwards from the beginning, it worked. I'm going to love this person no matter what. And that worked. It showed its fruit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It showed life. It showed love and all these things. Now, you know, the earth body, man body, like, got all polluted and I wanted to possess her. You're mine!
Yeah, we do that. We definitely do that.
And,
Where it's just like,
well,
can't do anything.
yeah, don't even talk to people.
Don't look at him. Why are you looking at him? It causes so much chaos, though. I mean, it causes, like, it just goes downhill from there. But,
yeah, and it gets you off a track with the true thing here was to be the conduit for love.
Yeah, and I was sort of like that with, you know, like with my wife, and I was just, oh, why are you talking to this, and why are you doing this, and why are you doing that? But it's just like, once you go like, do whatever you want, they don't do it. You know, they don't do what you don't want them to do. Because when you give the person freedom to choose what they want to do, more times than not all the time, because you have your little 10% that are just devils, you know.
Yeah, and they're where they're at in life.
Yeah, that's just, they're devils, you know, literally. More times than not, they'll do the right thing. But when you put pressure on them, just like when you tell a baby, don't touch that, what is he doing? He's touching that. Don't break that, be careful, don't break it. Right when he tells a child, no, be careful, you're going to break it, they break it. Why? Because you gave them that sense of like, oh my God, and then they're going to break it. You know? It's crazy. It's so crazy how life works. It's just, don't do that, they go and do it. You know, don't smoke. It's bad for you. This and that, and this and that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go smoke. Oh, I wonder why. You know, why is it bad for me? I don't think it's so bad. And then you get addicted, and you just keep smoking. You know what I mean? But if you just give them like, hey, you know, like I was told that it's not good. You know, you can do whatever you want. You know, but like I was a battery technician, and I would have to sell batteries. You know, I was supposed to like sell, out of 5 people, I'm supposed to sell 3 batteries or whatever. And in the beginning, you know, I wasn't all that great, but you know, as time grew, my strategy was like, hey, I'm giving you this option. There are other options. You can go to Walmart and get your own battery, but I'm here right now. I can install this battery for you. You know, when you give people that sense of, all right, I have options, they tend to just, oh yeah, go ahead and do it. You know. And that's, my sales were skyrocketing. You know, I was number 1 every single week. Number one. So it's just like, I don't know, when you give people an option, they tend to just like, okay, yeah, that's cool. You know, yeah, you sound right. But if you go like, oh, you have to do this, and there's just more people just,
everybody sucks but me.
My
way.
Yeah, it's my way or no other. Hey, who are you? You know, no, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
can
like,
see the con in it. Yeah.
Prices don't matter, you know. It's all about just giving people options, you know. You give them, hey, you do whatever you want, man. It's your life. That's the way I look at it.
I think that's interesting as far as, you know, here it's a felony to smoke weed, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought you could get a medical card.
You can get a medical card, but still technically on the law books, I mean, this is only for a few more months anyway, but at this moment, they can imprison you for marijuana, yeah. So, In Colorado, completely the opposite. You can just have it. Well, one of the things I realized was what you were talking about is like I would smoke and it almost like for some reason it like took some of the joy out of it. It was like, what am I doing? Like it's weird how the psychology and the mind works for that because of that taboo or something. I don't know exactly how to say what it is that we're talking about, but like, yeah, dude, I was out there and I was smoking with my friends. I was like, it's not as cool. Like, I mean, it is cool and it feels great.
We're in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
it's like marijuana and it's gonna relax you and all these things. It has those properties. That all was still there, but
good, but it's bad.
But the point where it was like I could just do it. Like I don't know, it just like seemed like for me it took like some like the childlike mind about it. It was like it took the fun away a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they talk about places that do that open up the legalization to things like what you just said. All right, fine, do what you want. Then it's like whatever. Like you know what I mean? They tend to actually pull away from that. This is like something that we've seen. Like that's actually just hurtful for you. Like what you said. Yeah. So no, I think that's interesting. I don't know. That's an interesting subject. Very cool.
It is, right? It's like you were talking about. There's another country where they open up. It was like sort of like a warehouse, like you were saying, where they will give them clean needles and doctors are on there and everything. Less likely people are gonna OD, because obviously everything is there, and then obviously they're gonna get the good drugs rather than people that are doing God knows what and killing people left and right.
Fentanyl in there and everything.
Yeah, I mean, again, I grew up in Chicago. I worked in the city. I've seen it all. I've seen needles on the ground. I've seen people right there at the pump. I worked at a gas station and they're sticking needles, doing coke. Reckless. Everybody's just doing whatever the hell they want to, and it's just like you see what people do to the drugs. Mix it up with nonsense or just a bunch of bullshit, and it's just like people don't really care. But if you had that type of environment where, all right, you want to do this, sure, but come over here. Yeah. You have to come here. We'll give you the clean needles, so on and forth. It'll be less likely that you'll see that type of environment. Like just a shitty neighborhood. You could tell. No matter what state I went to, I was able to tell. I was able to be like, all right, I'm in a good neighborhood. All right, I'm getting towards a shitty neighborhood. All right, I'm in the hood. Like, I'm able to tell no matter what state I'm in. Yeah. It's crazy. And I feel like they do that kind of on purpose, the government.
Looking back on it, where you're talking about now? Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like they just literally do that on purpose. And what is the word for it? Gentrification or something like that.
Gentrification?
They do that. They tend to do that. And like I told you, man, they really don't care about us. Michael Jackson said they don't care about us because they don't. Yeah. And they're trying to depopulate and create chaos in order for us to destroy one another so they can have the life that they're wanting to live, which is have everything. But for what?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of classism inside of it as well. Like, hey, if these guys get strong and sober and all this, they might get their brain running right, then
and they're gonna be able to
we can't fool them anymore. We can't sell them our bullshit anymore. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And all the way I look at it, all right, America, united we stand, divided we fall. You know why we're falling? In my eyes, they already separated us. We have Democratic and Republican. Why? I thought it was united we stand, divided we fall. Now you got two separate, and then they want to add the other liberals or whatever the hell you want to call them. I don't even know. I don't even keep up with. But it's just like already you're dividing. Right then and there, inside of our own government, you're dividing us. You have a debate. It's all for show, by the way. Because it's all the same. And that's just how I noticed it. It's all the same. Democratic, Republican, they just go on TV.
It's a way that
control.
It's people not following God, I think, is what we're getting down to because of the hierarchy replication. We have what already is natural in God given and hierarchy, and He's the top. And then we have the man version of it, and then we want to fight for the top. Yeah. And so like you would break into left and right or whatever it would be, no matter what. Those things.
Oh, I want more land. Okay, well at the end of the day, it's not your land. Almighty's land.
Yeah, well, like what you said, I'm not Republican, Democrat. I don't vote or anything. I don't even recognize country. I don't have any of that because that brings what you just said. It's division right off the bat. I made the problem that I'm trying to fight.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
you're part of the problem now instead of the solution. You know,
right off the bat, whenever you do that, I think that's cool to hear from another person other than myself. I always feel like I'm running around with like this feeling like,
am I crazy?
Well, sometimes when you get into it, it's like other people. It's just like I don't know. It's like because like I have people I like they'll care. I know they care. One's a Republican, one's Democrat, and they do see the whole thing different. And like, but at the end of the day, they want health for themselves and health for their neighbors and all of these things. Is what there's a truth behind it. And it's like I always want to preach like, why don't we get more to that truth behind it all than to fall into this bullshit? you know?
But that's the hard part.
And they don't. They get further into their bullshit.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's sad.
It's very sad. I mean, I'm losing relationships over it, you know, and I'm at the end of the day, I just want to preach, you know, for me, it's unity. It's like, when it, say if you said, you know, like me as a white man or me as a black person, like, you just failed. You just failed.
You put a label on yourself and then
divided. And now you're asking, why do we have division problems? Mm-hmm. No. Me as a man.
That's a human. You're a human.
Me as a human, yeah. That's where you need to, yeah.
Like, what are you? Oh, I'm human. You know, I literally, how about this? I was at a job interview and I'm filling out the application, and you know how they had, what ethnicity are you or whatever, white, black, or African American. I literally made my own column and I wrote human.
Yeah, I've been doing it. I
gave them that. Well. They looked at it. They're like, what? I mean, am I wrong? I'm human. You know, it doesn't matter what I am. Why does it matter? Yeah. But it does matter.
Because they're gonna box you in, and
they want to give me a little section, and it's sad, you know. But that's just how life is. You know, they see, Mohammed, throw that application away. You know, automatically. Oh, he's black, throw it away. You know.
Yeah. You're gonna already. Why would I give you that?
Yeah. So I have a plus though. Like when I first meet people, like they see me, complexion is white, color eyes, you know, like he's probably not Middle Eastern. You know, they forget about the labels. You know, but you know, once I even fall into that trap where I'm Middle Eastern. You know, because they keep asking, where are you from?
Yeah.
Planet Earth. Well, no. Where are you from, though? Like, I'm from Chicago. No, your family. Like,
what's that matter? It doesn't matter.
They're from Palestine. It's just like, they keep going to it, and they want to know exactly. And then once you tell them, it's just a shift. Like, interesting.
Yeah.
Like, what? It's just like, and it's funny, one time I was at work and somebody sneezed. And I'm like, God bless you. And then another guy was like, why'd you say that? I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, I thought you don't believe in God. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I thought Muhammad was your God. I'm like, well, who told you this?
Right.
You know, lack of information.
Yeah, we're too boxed in.
Too
much narrative going on in the head. And other people's wars, other people's fights. Because I look at, just because you're one thing doesn't mean you're the representation of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And so, like, you could look, so I don't know if I look into, for the sake of the conversation, I've seen that as well.
Hello.
So.
Hi.
Mo?
Hello. Yes.
Hi, Mo.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you.
I'm Stephanie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Is your wife here?
Not yet. She's on her way from California.
Oh, okay. So, is that your car parked out on the street?
Yeah, it's the red Jeep.
Okay.
Am I supposed to move it?
No, but it goes inside the garage. It has to be parked in the
I'm going to end the podcast. We were doing a podcast, Steph. It was very nice meeting you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. This is awesome, you know.
Oh, yeah. I hope we're friends after this.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
After this, we're already friends, man.
Yeah, well, of course. We know that.